these are not, the rules are 98 pages long, the whole rule booklet. But imagine how colorful. This is so easy to read. It's very colorful. It's very nice. And oops, those are dark. But do you know how much better this is compared to what we had before?
I
Because
don't.
imagine.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to show you. See, this is what we used to have before, where the book was
Oh,
just
that's 50. What the heck?
yeah.
I like the little
But
symbols.
yeah, the symbols are great, but
Right.
I mean, it's just the layout. This is all just boring, boring, black text, black text. This is just the worst. It's so now the new one they've designed is so beautiful.
I think we're live on the air now.
It is.
Hi, welcome.
Are we live now? Oh, that looks good. So, hi everybody. We're looking at the new Dragon Dice rules. They just released version 4.0 of Dragon Dice rule set for the core game, for the collectible dice game. It's very exciting.
14 pages long compared to what, 50 pages?
No, that's just the summary. The new rules are 98 pages long. But because it has lots of reference in it. There's just reference sheets in the back.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, but it's very
It's quite a
improved.
bit.
Hello everybody. Is this Yeah, it is.
It is.
TheOneRing.net. Welcome. We're on TheOneRing.net live. What is Dragon Dice?
It's
All right,
Cliff's geek game.
it's just like Magic the Gathering. It is a collectible strategy game, but instead of using collectible cards, which are, the format for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And all those card games that stole their idea from Magic the Gathering, the original collectible game. But Dragon Dice is played with beautiful multicolored dice, polyhedral dice, many different shapes and sizes. The dragons are 12-sided dice. And when you look closely, there's claws and jaws wrapped around the 12 sides of the die. And you roll it, and whatever rolls on top, that's the icon for how much damage the dragon is doing to your armies.
That sounds cool,
it's
but
really
kind of
cool.
complicated.
It is.
I'm just saying.
It's not complicated if
saying.
you're a nerd.
You know what, Cliff?
You play nerd games like Magic the
You
Gathering.
know
and
what?
You guys, raise your hand in the chat room if you guys play strategy games, tabletop games, fantasy games, because they're really wonderful. If you guys have any questions about that, go to dragondice.com and look at it. It's really cool.
Or you could just tweet at Cliff here.
Or you could tweet us, and hey, we're live on the air. This is Hannah.
Hi.
I'm Clifford. That's Justin. Welcome to Torn Tuesday, everybody. Torn is our playful acronym for theonering.net, and we are here at Scum and Villainy Cantina here in Hollywood. And we have a really cool show coming up right now, live via the interwebs. We're still coming
Yes.
down from our San Diego
our little
appearance.
high from San Diego.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
post-con depression blues is hitting in for most of us.
Still trying to decompress from the Comic-Con experience.
Diane Teo. I haven't seen that name in a while.
Hey there, Diane.
hello.
So, hey,
Hello,
we're really glad to have
everybody.
you guys here. We're going to do some exciting things on this show. We have gifts. Ooh, thank you, Drew. Drew sent a wonderful gift for Justin.
And you.
And it's for Justin.
Oh,
And yes, it's
it
not.
says and for Clifford.
Oh, and Clifford. Okay. Well, it's for us to open on live on the air.
I'm the
Thank
black
you. We have
sheep here.
fans who are J.R.R. Tolkien fans and fantasy fans and science fiction fans.
And just nerds all
And
overall.
welcome, hardcore nerd culture and even light core nerd culture. Come on in, have a cup of tea, meet the missus, sit down and talk with us. We're going to talk about stuff on the OneRing.net show.
What
What
type
is-
of stuff?
What's this? Ooh. This massive, amazing, complete recordings of The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. How much did this set you back, Mr. Justin?
More than I have. More than I have.
This is beautiful.
This
Look
is
at
not sponsored content.
It's
This
not
is
sponsored.
really something I bought because I wanted, because the Fellowship of the Ring sold out, and then it was sold out, and now it's already going for double the price.
But our friends at Water Tower Music
In
were going to
6
send us a
months.
review copy.
In 6 months,
Send
the
us a
Lord of the
review
Rings
copy.
Fellowship complete collection has doubled in value. And so I got in on Two Towers, and as of a few days ago, Return of the King is up for pre-order, which we announced at Comic-Con. And
When
it's
was
going
it
to
first
be
on sale, the Fellowship set of records?
April
This year.
this year.
It was April 2018. What?
Yeah.
What?
It's already doubled in value
What?
this year. And
This
so
is-
I said, I got to get in on the two towers.
This is gorgeous.
It's heavy, isn't it?
It is. It's heavy. It's beautiful. So we
Yeah.
have things to unbox. We have beautiful things.
$149.99 says Ryan Hamilton.
Ryan Hamilton, 149. Is that so much you bought?
That's $150 vinyl. So treat it with care. Now, people have been telling me, don't open it. We don't need it. We don't need to see it. Don't open it. You don't have a record player. Keep it in the shrink wrap. But I want to show it to you guys. So if you're in the chat room,
Oh no! You
Tell
really are
me.
going to devalue this by opening this?
should we open it here? I have no problem opening it to you because vinyl is meant to be played. So if you guys think I should keep it in the shrink wrap, tell me in the chat. Text us. The phone number's scrolling above our heads. Text me and Cliff,
Oh my gosh!
and
yes,
tell
yes.
me if we should open this up, this show.
You open up this cellophane off of this wrap, and you're making a commitment to purchasing a phonograph, to purchasing, everything, a record player system, and
But what about all the
Connecting it to
stuff
your receiver at home?
inside? All the cool stuff.
oh, the beautiful stuff.
Exactly.
I want to read Doug Adams's beautiful stuff inside. Yeah. But I don't
That
want to
means
devalue this.
we gotta open it.
Guys, are you going to make Justin open this that he has to make the commitment?
You guys have to talk to Susie Davis right now.
Hey,
Okay.
Susie Davis. I went to the Tolkien exhibit at the Bodleian Library. How cool. Oh, you were just there last week. That's pretty awesome, Susie.
Oh wow.
Totally amazing. Could have bought everything in the gift shop. Oh, I bet. Yes. Oh, yes. Tolkien's writing desk.
Wow.
Ooh, you know what? That might be on loan from, that might be the writing desk that is on loan from the Wheaton College. Might be on loan from the Wheaton College in Illinois. That is so cool. Susie says, open it, but don't open it. That's the answer. That's the answer we're looking for. Yes. Well, I don't mind opening this up, but I would caution you, if you're going to resell this in the future and you don't ever plan on playing it and you're not going to invest in a record player system, let me ask, are you still one of those folks that has a stereo receiver at home?
I do.
Then do you have a phonograph connected to it?
I do.
What? You have a phonograph already? Well, then your expense is going to be limited to only one thing.
To bring here.
There's only one thing you need to do then. You need to buy a nice needle, a new one for your record player stylus. Get a new needle. Evidently, you want a diamond tip. They're the best stylus tips for any record player. You want a diamond tip.
See, people open up their Funkos.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with Aerovandi here in the chat. I open up all my Funko Pops, so I'm probably not the best person to talk to when it comes to opening up the record. I'm the same way. I open up everything. There's like one thing in my room that I still have in the box. It's the great nerd debate. Keep it in the box or take it out of the box.
What does that say? Oh, yes, you better. We all open the Funkos.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
I'm with you,
now-
Susie. I'm with you.
All right, Justin, now that I realize you already own a record player at home,
Open it.
I'm going to encourage that we open up this beautiful Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. What does this say on the front, Hannah? Read that.
Okay.
Read that with your evil director's voice.
My evil director's
Yeah,
voice?
your evil
So my
director's
normal voice?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Okay. Complete Grammy award-winning score.
Try again. Take two.
Okay, look, we can't all be voice actors here.
Yes, you can.
We can't all be voice actors.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
you
This is
can.
going to be real cringe. Oh, wait. Ah, there we go. No, I can't do it. Okay, fine.
I'll read it then. All right, you read the last lines then.
All right,
Okay.
I'll read from here.
Complete Grammy Award-winning score. Deluxe 5 LP collector's box featuring 5 180-gram blue vinyl LPs. For a few millennials out there who don't know, an LP means long playing, as in record, a long playing record. Okay, got it. Deluxe
Got it.
booklet. Ooh, Middle-earth Map, Part 2. Ooh. I want want to see the map that's inside.
That's why we should open it up.
Yeah, keep reading, keep reading.
Uh-oh. There's big words in here, and I'm dyslexic. This isn't good. Includes performances by the London, I don't know that word, Orchestra. Isabel, your last name is hard to pronounce. I'm sorry if you're watching, but you're...
Who is that?
Isabel... I don't know how to pronounce that.
Bacadarian?
Yeah.
Does it look like Bacadarian? Maybe.
I'm just going to skip down to the last...
Okay.
to the last line.
Okay. And Emiliana Torini, right?
Yes.
The woman who sounds Bjork, but she's not Bjork.
Okay. Entire score on vinyl for the first time.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. So it's kind of a big deal.
I'm very excited, actually. I think this is super, super cool. Are you ready to cut to the camera? We're going to do this unboxing? No, I haven't decided yet. You haven't decided yet? Okay,
Okay.
hey, you
well,
guys wanna be-
please send in what you think we should do. Should we unbox it or should we box? Or
One.
leave it in, not box it up. Hold on.
See that hotline number that's just going over our heads? Okay. 562. No, is it It's not area code 562. Is it, Justin? Is it 562? That's right. It's area code Yeah. It's 530. Area code 530, number 6, number 4, FRODO. Come and be part of the show. You can call us. You can be called in. You can actually text us. And thank you for joining us live on theonering.net.
We could phase you in.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We don't have that kind of technology
We do
yet.
have interphasic, interdimensional technology to phase you into existence here. Partially, your molecules will also be scattered across the universe to other locations that are, because our interphasic technology is a little bit wonky sometimes.
Yes,
a little bit,
wonky.
yeah. We don't. He says we usually don't have interphasic. We do. Yes, we do, Justin.
Sometimes.
He's off stage now. Okay, guys.
His molecules are in the air. It's fine.
I'm so encouraged. Hello, live chatters. Hello. We're going to say hi to everybody in the live chat room. How you doing? There's Brian.
Hello.
There's David. Hello, everybody. There's Ryan Hamilton. What if your faces melt? Hey, Kay, it's Pipskay. Your birthday's next week. We're going to do a very special birthday for you, Pipskay, next week. What? Oh, good. An old stereo system? Jen Bourgeois? Ooh, you do have an old stereo system. Then use it. Yeah, okay.
Did anyone else get this?
Yeah.
Get what?
Unbox it. Janet Alvarez saying unbox it.
That's why I'm saying we should unbox
Someone
it.
else is saying don't unbox it. Why?
Start talking about the latest Amazon news.
Yeah.
Well, Haval, what is the latest news for Haval for the Amazon series?
Huge news.
We have a lot to talk about there too, but believe us.
I'm a little annoyed that we got all this news last week, and this was just days after Comic-Con. Hey guys, Amazon, you knew that we were at Comic-Con. You could have dropped us a little note saying, "Hey, we've got some news coming." Like, we would have been happy to hype it up at our packed panel where we turned away over 100 fans, some in cosplay, because the room was too small. But the huge news this week...
Do you want a drum roll?
Oh, dude. Yeah, the huge news about the Amazon series, I agree with you. They should have positioned it at Comic-Con. Like I said last week, it is the most important marketing experience for anybody, any studio or any TV shows anywhere. And it didn't happen. And we could have used that platform to really get the news out there.
So the big news we did scoop at Comic-Con is we announced the release date of the Return of the King vinyl collection. So the follow-up to this one that we have right here. But the big Amazon news was that they've hired 2 writers to lead the writers' room.
And they're 2 writers that nobody's ever heard of.
That have no projects in development, that have no credited scripts in production, that have nothing on IMDb.
However, there's a magic thing that people have heard about in the industry, and people who do not work in the entertainment business might not even know what this is, but it is called The Blacklist. Not a reference to, one of your favorite shows with James Spader.
Oh, that's a great show.
Yeah,
in fact,
but
the
no.
showrunner from The Blacklist would be a great addition to Lord of the Rings.
It would be. No, there was a Blacklist, and that is a thing where you have a highly successful career only because your script is on that blacklist, and what it is Hollywood's most famous screenplays that everybody knows about in this town, but they have not been produced. They've been shopped around, they've been talked about, they've been rewritten by people, and they're really, really big, expensive projects. You can live as a successful screenwriter and never have one of your screenplays ever produced, just by optioning them. Like the studio would be like, oh, we love this script, we're going to pay you a ton of money to option it, and then your script ends up not ever being made. That's how you end up with a project on The Blacklist. It's these guys who are now going to be working on the Lord of the Rings, the big Middle-earth show for Amazon.
Rackron Duel,
famous,
thanks for the shout
but
out.
not famous.
Hey, but we just want to clear some. So the big news from Amazon was that they've hired 2 writers to lead the writers' room. Now there's a lot of stuff going on and conversations going on right now in fandom saying they've hired the showrunners. No, these are not the showrunners. These are not the people directing. These are not the people overseeing the series. They are not in control at all. What they are the 2 first writers of the writers' room, which is going to be a huge group of people. The way television works is not like movies. Movies, you get a script from a writer, and then maybe you hire another writer to do a polish. Or if you're Peter Jackson, Philippa, and Fran, you guys just bang out a script on your own and maybe get some input. But, there's like 1, 2, or 3 people working on a script. On television, there's over a dozen people in that room. And the way it works is everybody assembles in a big room. I've seen writers' rooms of over 20 people.
Yes.
20 people in a television writer's room, and you sit down and you bang out the story, the overall hits and goals. Like, this character is going to go from here to here to here to here to here. All right? And this will be over this season, and then this will be over 5 seasons.
Yes. Way planned in advance.
They plan the whole thing out.
Yeah.
And then what they do is, once they have the plan and everybody's agreed, they break it up into episodes. And you say, all right, what episode do you want to do? I want to do this piece of the story. What episode do you want to do? I want to do that piece of the story. So basically, a big group of writers come together. They hash out the whole script. It's like the outline of the story.
Yep.
The outline. If you've ever written a book or written a term paper or written a thesis paper, you do an outline. So these guys that they've just hired are in charge, not in charge, but they're the first 2 writers to join the story group, the concept group. So that is what's happened. It's not a showrunner. They've not announced Aragorn. They've not announced that Viggo's coming back as young Aragorn.
That's true. So
Anyways,
we can quell all of those rumors.
How would that work anyway?
Rumors.
How does Viggo play younger Aragorn?
No, if
Looks much older.
No, the only way that Viggo would ever come back is if they use a framing device where he's a bookend or a narrator. And part of my brain is somehow hoping, and this is where I'm getting into fan speculation again, but that's what we're here for. I would like to see all 5 seasons driven by an individual voice of an individual narrator telling their own backstory and their own interesting history. I would love to see Samwise as
you're
one.
talking creatively. But back to the actual physical people that really exist to writing. Do you think that real people, like experienced people, should be writing this?
Yes,
or should someone with no television experience be trusted with Tolkien's legendarium?
They know who to hire. They're going to hire the best people. They've got the money to hire the best people. But anyways, I would like to see like season 1 be narrated by Viggo Mortensen,
Like,
and then
what I
season 2
think with
narrated by
the-
Sean Astin, and have them come back as their character, just to do the framing device. I know it's kind of silly, but I'd like that.
Like
Anyways.
back to I can't speak. Sorry. Back to Justin's question. I think they should hire unknowns, but they also should get at least one experienced writer, just to kind of go, okay, here's somebody with experience.
Well, now this is where we have a perception problem. Just because they've had none of their screenplays produced doesn't mean that these guys can't write their way, write circles around you.
Well, right.
You know what I mean? I mean, they're on the blacklist for a reason. Everybody in this town loves their work and has paid them a lot of money to continue to buy their screenplays. What did they work on before getting hired by Amazon? Let's talk about that. What exactly did these guys work on? Well,
they did work on Star Trek Beyond.
yes.
They've worked on the new Star Trek, which isn't officially in development.
Not,
yet.
is that going to be the Tarantino script?
And no.
But they are working with Paramount.
This was a J.J. Abrams script.
Oh,
And
right.
They've also done story work on Godzilla versus King Kong.
That's right. Yes, Godzilla.
So
That's two big franchises.
two big franchises that are not in development, that aren't greenlit. They presented an idea. Their names are attached, but there's no. They're not. Their name is not on any script that's been produced. Also, what
that creates a false perception that they might not be qualified to get the job that they've gotten.
That's what I'm saying. What as an expert, you produced Ringer's Lord of the Fans. You've been following the career of Tolkien, and from Ralph Bakshi on down, television, film, Peter Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Does Tolkien deserve a more experienced writer to tackle his deep legendarium?
That's going to be the main concern that these two guys have.
So, but
as they go into the process of hiring writers to be on their team, that should be their main concern. And my take on it is that Professor Tolkien deserves some talented people who really know and appreciate the depth of his work and the relationship between his professional teaching and his philology, as he's not just an author. He was a man who invented languages first. Anybody that they hire on that team, their relative experience or inexperience is not as important as them truly understanding the linguistics and the academic background behind Tolkien that informs almost everything in his work. Two things that they need to know. They need to understand how Professor Tolkien's spirituality and his Catholicism also informed his work. So I wouldn't hire anybody unless they knew very, very much what Professor Tolkien's life was like. And these are people who have to know the man very much before they can get into bed with learning his work and learning his legendarium and learning about his mythologies. Because if you don't have that root appreciation for the linguistics and the academic life of this man, you'll never learn Tolkien the way Tolkien is meant to be learned.
So you're saying you need Tolkien scholars.
You need hardcore
as much
Tolkien
as
scholars. Yes.
fans of Lord of the Rings.
It's not just a fan. You just can't have some cursory appreciation of the world. You just can't have some cosmetic appreciation of Middle-earth. You need to know the languages behind Tolkien's mind that inhabit all of these things.
That's what made the Lord of the Rings so good,
stuff.
was that the writers of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, Philippa and Fran, were so versed in Tolkien's history and the languages that they wrote all the songs in the movies. In fact, a lot of the songs and a good portion of the dialogue in the Lord of the Rings movies was not in the books. So they were able to distill the essence of Tolkien into these beautiful songs sung by the biggest artists like Annie Lennox or Billy Boyd or anybody else, So, but to that point where you say the writer's room needs to be stocked with people versed in Tolkien himself, I am encouraged by the fact that these guys that they've hired to write Lord of the Rings on Amazon are hardcore Mormons. They're well known in the LDS Church, so they're steeped in classic, religious Christianity. So they have a starting point similar to Tolkien in that they're revisiting some of the classic tropes of history and religion and language and the struggles of cultures between those things. So I think they might be approaching Tolkien or the Legendarium in a similar way that Tolkien would. I mean, do you think that there needs to be a balance of, religious, non-religious, atheists, Catholics in the writer's room?
Yeah, sure. I mean, yes, absolutely. Now, the thing that informs the metaphysics of Tolkien's world is very, very much that he felt that the best kind of way that Professor Tolkien could honor the creation of God was to be a sub-creator himself. And you learn a lot about this stuff when you read Tolkien's letters. Hey, guys, get yourself a copy of, the Humphrey Carpenter biography, the actual life story of Tolkien, and get yourself a copy of the letters. Published letters of Tolkien is the best thing. It's so amazing. Have you ever read any of these things?
I have not read most of his letters. I have read some here and there.
Dig in. So it's a gold mine
of
who this man was and how he thought, how he and how he creatively thought about religion is so important, and yet he decided to create a world that had no active religion in it. And Professor Tolkien was deliberate in this, and it's very strange, perhaps, that he was so devout as a Catholic, and yet he wanted to take the open C.S. Lewis of like ham-handedly hitting the people over the head with the religious symbols and the ideologies of it.
Right.
Instead, he wanted to put all the stuff into the themes and the behaviors of the characters so that his Catholicism would be evident, but not strikingly obvious, but evident. When you realize it, you don't even realize that you've read through certain passages between Sam and Gollum and Frodo and their relationship. All of a sudden, Frodo forgives Gollum. Even at the last moment, Samwell's not going to forgive Gollum, and Gollum becomes a traitor over and over again, and Frodo has this very distinct, very Christian approach to giving Gollum, Smeagol, the benefit of the doubt and forgiving him. And then it's because of that, it's really amazing. I don't want to get too deep into this rabbit hole, but I will say for real, the writers in the writer's room, yes, need to have some major awareness of that their own spiritual voice can also be part of this fantasy. Of course.
I'd like to know from Hannah and then from Cliff, am I making too big of a deal out of religion? Because we all know that Tolkien was Catholic. He was so hardcore Catholic that he felt spurned when C.S. Lewis brought Jesus back into his life, but then chose a Protestant religion rather than Catholicism. And that was a kind of a really hard thing for Tolkien to accept. And this is history. This isn't conjecture. Yeah. Tolkien put a strong emphasis on religion when he was alive, and he took issue with C.S. Lewis choosing to be a Protestant, and then took issue with C.S. Lewis in the Chronicles of Narnia, beating you over the head with religious imagery. So allegory. So.
As opposed to applicability.
Is it inappropriate to even consider the writer's background. Should we even be concerned, and should we just drop it? And your personal religious beliefs don't matter when it comes to Tolkien. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it does depend. Wait, is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it really does depend because, like, just on the person, because, you know, you could have Joe Schmo and, like, he's, you know, Buddhist or whatever. And, you know, it would be like, oh, you know, I'm Buddhist, but I'm writing, you know, in Lord of the Rings, and, you know, it has very Catholic and Christian themes. Leave kind of my beliefs where they are, and then just fall into the world that, you know, J.R. Tolkien created. But you could have somebody else that's like, oh, I'm hardcore. I'm trying to think of another religion other than like Muslim or Christian or Catholic.
Baha'i,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah. Like, oh, you know, I have a piece of my religion in there, and like it influences how I write. I think it really just depends on the person, but in the case of, you know, the latter, if your religion influences you in the way that you write, I mean, as long as you're not trying to push an agenda, I want to say, is that the correct word?
That is the correct word, because Tolkien never did.
Right.
Professor Tolkien himself never pushed an agenda. As deeply religious as he was,
Right.
he
I
never
mean, there's
pushed an
still,
agenda.
like,
And that is why the
parallels.
Lord of the Rings is embraced by so many
Right.
people and different cultures from different backgrounds, whether they are of a monotheistic religion or if they're Native American and they have a tribal religion, or if they have a totally different spiritual system.
Right.
Professor Tolkien manages to be accessible to everyone because he didn't do what C.S. Lewis
I mean,
did.
like, there's definitely parallels if you know your stuff. But I
Yeah.
mean, he doesn't push like what you were saying with C.S. Lewis. It's like, oh, and then Aslan comes back from, you know, the dead, and
after
you know,
three
yeah,
days,
after
three nights,
days,
yeah.
after 3 nights, he's, you know,
and
he's risen.
and that's why
but-
we have Easter Sunday, because Aslan came back.
And bunnies, but
And bunnies, yeah.
But like with Tolkien, I mean, if you know the man, or if you know, if you yourself are Catholic or Christian, then you can definitely see, or you could definitely see where he takes influence and where he takes influence and where he draws from, you know? So, I mean,
Yes.
like, it depends. I mean, as much as I really like Chronicles of Narnia, like, I really, really like that series.
Me
but,
too,
I
it's
mean,
great.
it's not for everybody. You know, it's very, very, very Christian. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like,
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
there isn't. I mean,
of course
like,
not.
To each their own, you know. What's, you know, I can't imagine, like, somebody that's, I don't know, atheist would be like, oh, I'm watching Chronicles of Narnia that has such religious beliefs, and, you know, I myself am opposed to it. Which, you know, that's what some people believe, and that's okay. We're all different. That's okay. I mean, it would be boring if we all just believed the same thing.
It's interesting,
know?
but in terms of who these guys are going to hire to
Right.
be working in the writer's room,
Uh-huh.
Justin is not so obviously trying to get to the point of saying these writers are now the head of the team of writers who are going to all be working on this for a few years now.
Right.
And not so subtle, but Justin is pointing out the question, do you think they're going to hire people who have just as strong religious convictions as they do? And is that appropriate for hiring them? And my answer is, it is never, a person's religion should never be like a veto thing to
Right.
immediately discriminate against
Oh,
them,
yeah.
either for the job or not to get the job.
Right, exactly.
I understand a lot of writers come from many different backgrounds in their lives.
Right.
don't they?
Yes,
These
exactly.
people have their individual voices that they are bringing. What they need, and we're getting text messages to back us up. They need to know Tolkien's life and Tolkien's work better than anything. And I don't care if they're, Hindu, and it's like time to put some incense and flowers around the statue of Ganesh before getting the next version of the script out the door. I don't care. I don't care. As long as you know Professor Tolkien and really understand his
respect
life
his work.
and respect his work.
If you're not, like you just have to respect his work for what it is, And I mean, I actually lost my train of thought, so let's just read some comments.
Hey, Patrick. Hey, it's Patrick. Patrick is with us. How you doing? Live on the YouTube. And hey, there's Rakron and there's Ravandi, and there's Susie.
Let's see here. So Susie says...
Rakwan says the professor was Catholic. Why Mormons? And the answer is, why not?
Maybe they...
Who cares?
Their writing is really good. I mean, we haven't seen...
We don't know what they're writing something that is so good.
Could be great.
People are buying their scripts left and right, and they've made a huge career, and they've made a lot of money selling scripts to big studios. So they're doing something right, even though it hasn't been produced yet, and we don't know yet. But why not? And why not have, I would have a writer's room full of as many mix of people as I possibly could.
Right.
I really would like to have as many different backgrounds of people, but because that, I think, is an interesting thing, that Tolkien touches a lot of people from different ages and different cultures, and it really wouldn't matter if you were Muslim or Jewish or Hindu or Baha'i, or even if you were... Well, actually, there's still some Zoroastrians in the world. There is still Zoroastrianism, one of the world's major religions, but hey, I don't care. I really don't care. The thing that we all agree on is that you have to know the real granular stuff about Professor Tolkien's writing and his philology and his approach to that. Because, well, I'm curious, too, about everything about... What are their names, by the way? These two guys that Amazon hired.
Patrick McKay.
Patrick McKay.
And I'm blanking out on the other one.
David something, I think.
Is this David something? Hold on, let's see here.
There you go. Thank you, the Google machine. We just found it.
J.D. Payne.
J.D. Payne.
Yes, J.D. Payne.
Yes.
So some people in the chat room were saying why I said Mormons. Here's the thing. There's not a lot of information about the writers of Lord of the Rings. So we're trying to dig up any information on these guys. Who are they? What have they written? What are their qualifications? Are they Tolkien fans? Have they done? Did they run a Tumblr for Lord of the Rings? In the last 10 years. We don't know anything about him, so I was just trying to dig up anything. And searching for J.D. Payne or Patrick McKay brought up a bunch of articles from LDS Church blogs and things like that. So, I'm just saying, we just bring it up because it's very little information is available about these guys other than... they're well known in the church. They made a move to Hollywood. They've been friends since high school. They were high schoolers in 1997. They were sophomores in high school.
Okay.
Which makes them a little younger than me. So these guys are firmly 35 to 38. So these guys are younger than 40. How old was Peter Jackson when he made Lord of the Rings?
Great question.
That's a great question for the chat room. Look it up. So basically,
look it up for us in the Google machine.
How old was Tolkien when he wrote Lord of the Rings? It was late in life. He was a late bloomer when it came to his creative efforts.
He wrote The Hobbit in the 1930s.
Right, but he was like 40-something when he wrote The Hobbit.
No, I believe that Professor Tolkien was in his 30s. We'll have to double
About
check that.
Late 30s. It sounds like late 30s or maybe early 40s.
I would imagine
possibly.
he was in his 50s when he wrote The Lord of the Rings.
Right.
92, 02, 12, 22, 32, 42.
Oh, he was 42 when he wrote The Hobbit.
52.
52?
52.
Wowzer.
55. He was 55 when Lord of the Rings came out.
55 when Lord of the Rings came out, but hey, wind back the clock. Before that, he was in his 40s, early 40s, when The Hobbit came out. Okay? If that makes any sense.
61, 71, 81, 91.
TikTok. He's doing math in his head right now, guys. It's crazy. I don't know,
can't do that.
but
Peter Jackson was. When did Lord of the Rings officially go into production? 1997?
1999 was when
They lensed, but they had sold it to the Weinsteins in 97.
That's right. That's right.
So at 97, Peter Jackson was 36. So they have hired two relatively unknown writers who were on the Blacklist last year, who J.J. Abrams trusted for 2 movies of Star Trek, who Universal trusted to figure out Godzilla versus Kong, and they're the same age. They're the same age Peter Jackson was when he made Lord of the Rings.
Indeed.
Is that a good thing?
Indeed. I think that's totally fine. People at that age are totally at their prime. Miyazaki says in his philosophy that an artist is at his most creative for 10 years, for a period of time where they can get their most effective and ambitious work done. 10-year period.
So is J. Michael Straczynski too old?
Because Straczynski is 64 years old? Yeah. No, he's not too old. That's ageism. No, he's so not too old. No.
He's fine.
Hey, and he might still be able to come on as a showrunner. Like you said, these gentlemen that they hired are not the showrunners.
So does the writer's room need to have a big grouping of ages? Does the writer's room need to represent?
You better believe it. And
Indeed.
Hannah, how about that? Come join me on this.
Indeed.
Imagine the writer's room needs to have much older and much younger writers for this Lord of the Rings Middle-earth series. They really do.
It is young
They really
Aragorn we are talking about, though.
And here's why. Because some of the older Lord of the Rings people are going to be deep into the granular stuff about Tolkien's life. The younger writers are going to have fresh ideas that will help invigorate the older writers in the room. Wisdom with a fresh voice and fresh vision. It's a great combination.
So
it's great.
That, like Hannah be hired?
Yep. Someone like Hannah and Clifford. Definitely 2 people who should be hired.
Kelly's not here right now, but
Kelly.
let's just pretend that she's here.
All right. No, seriously, really, having a young person on a writing team or on any creative endeavor means that you're going to have that extra brain power where you didn't think of something because you didn't. You just didn't think of it. Someone else will.
I also wanted to add, there seems to be a problem with modern movies, especially with kid movies. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just a kid movie. Why are you freaking out about it?" Because it dumbs down the next generation. That's all I have to say about that. But it's like you get a bunch of. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, but. Like, take, for example, the Emoji Movie, which isn't the greatest example because that movie's, like, really, really, really bad. But, Sony hired a bunch of people that didn't really understand technology. And the reason why the production was so rushed in that was because the creator who came up with the idea said, oh, we need to get this out in the next 2 months. Or not 2 months, 2 years. They did one draft of the script, and they didn't even do any revisions over it because of this sole reason. The technology is, I don't know, I'm doing this. I think I'm trying to do air quotes, but the technology will move on, and then our movie won't become relevant. That's kind of an old way of thinking. Because if you're going to make a movie or a TV show, I mean, not that Lord of the Rings would try and keep up with the times in that sort of sense, but you know, there's always going to have to be revisions for that kind of stuff. And then having people that, you know, are older and younger and female and male and, you know, just whatever, is going to give just a bunch of different perspectives and backgrounds. Like, you know, if you get like a bunch of, I'm trying to think how to put this in a nice way. If you get a bunch of older Caucasian men writing a movie about, you know, a black woman of power, you know, that you know, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think.
Bunch of old white dudes got no business writing a project about
I mean, like,
a black woman of power.
Yeah, if they don't understand or have a connection with, you know, like, okay,
they're going to have a lot harder time making
exactly.
that character realistic and add credibility to the character itself.
Right. I mean,
I get that.
Some people might be like, oh, you know, that's easy, and then they might click with it. But I mean, generally, you know, like myself, if I'm writing about a guy's struggle, I'm not a guy. I don't know what you guys, you know, have to experience in life, or if you
the struggle is real.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But you know, if you write a movie about like a woman, you know, oh, you know, and then she gets catcalled, and then blah 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 blah. You know, it's like.
You know what? The audience is much smarter than they ever were. Fans are a lot more connected than they ever were, and if you are a writer of comics or science fiction or fantasy, and if you're able to create really, really strong characters that are not your gender of you from your experience, fans will give you all the credit in the world. And they'll say, look at what George R.R. Martin has done. He has written such strong women characters. And he's not a woman and has never been a woman, but he's built a career. A very successful career.
Right.
Professor Tolkien also is able to create very strong women, and he certainly did. And anybody who is a fan will stop and give that writer extra credit and say, you know what? Some of the most intelligent and interesting women are sometimes written by men, like Neil Gaiman and his characters in the Sandman comics, you know? But sometimes you're right in that. And I guess this is just going to boil down to the skills, the talent and skills of the person who's doing it.
Yeah.
But there are some people who cannot write their way out of a bag when they're creating a character which is alien to them or that they're not familiar. Some people really do have, and boil that down to the talent of the writer.
So
really.
the question is, I think one of the reasons that Lord of the Rings was so successful is because it was written by two women. And I think having the different perspectives coming in to Tolkien.
Especially Philippa, who was a playwright, was brought in to work with Fran and Peter. Right? Originally, it was just Fran and Peter working with this other dude. What was his name? Chris Cunningham?
Something like that.
There was some dude who got Sinclair. I think his name was Tony Sinclair. He got a credit on the Fellowship of the Ring screenplay.
Okay.
And then they realized we need another voice. And they wanted hardcore Tolkien expert, and they brought Philippa to work for all three films.
All right, so are we saying that this writer's room needs to be filled with various genders, various cultural backgrounds, and various religious backgrounds?
Yes.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yes.
Because that just makes it feel, you know, more real, as you know, as Gimli said, and this probably won't be the appropriate time to use this quote, where he's all like, oh, I can't believe I'm dying side by side with an elf. And he's like, and then Legolas is all like, oh, what about side by side with a friend, you know?
Aye, laddie, I can do that.
So what about a show like Mad Men? That show about advertising agencies in the 50s and 60s and 70s.
Misogyny.
Yeah, very, very misogynistic.
A world of misogyny,
right?
Where women could barely navigate their professional lives, much less their personal lives.
That was part of the story of Mad Men. What if I told you that the entire writer's room on Mad Men, all 14 people, for the entire run of the series were women. Does that make Mad Men a better show? Do you think its success was based on the fact that it had that perspective, talking about those topics?
Is that true, or is that?
It's true, 100%.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Mad Men was written by women.
Well, good. They wanted to examine sexual politics at the time where the show is set, and that's one of the major things that they really wanted to bring to the fore, thematically and visually, was the women's struggles and how appropriate that a team of women writers would,
diverse like a Jedi Council.
Yeah.
Good call,
diverse like
Chad.
a Jedi Council.
Yeah, indeed.
All right. So,
we've been getting a few questions in the chat room. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us again. We're live from Scum and Villainy Cantina in Hollywood. We are sitting in a booth this week because they're making magic potions behind the bar right now. And this place is open to the public. And we invite you to come down and join the show. And you could be sitting here in the booth with us if you were here. But a lot of people in the chat room were saying, is Alan Lee involved in the show? The short answer is no, not yet.
Not yet.
Should he?
Yes.
But he already had his turn.
Are you kidding? No, wait.
He already had his turn. He's been illustrating all of the Tolkien books of the last 5 years. In fact, The Fall of Gondolin, which comes out in a month, is illustrated by Alan Lee.
So disingenuous for you to say that.
Isn't it time to give a new generation? Even there's artists like Colleen Doran. There's even I would appreciate.
I love Colleen Doran. We all love Colleen Doran. She's incredibly talented.
So what about some of the artistic stylings of the brothers Hildebrandt or something like that?
Bring them on board too, but
Jerry Vanderstel.
You can't just throw out John Howe and Alan Lee and just say, Alan Lee, you've had your turn. You just can't do that.
Why?
Well, they paid New Line Cinema to license all of the existing designs and the existing footage.
So they're getting their work out of.
Then they're probably going to be really interested in bringing Alan Lee and John Howe back to have continued visual cohesion. Why not?
I think what I think is, if they're going to be using the footage from what wasn't released or what was shot, they should keep Alan Lee and John Howe on board because that's their own design. But for new lands and new characters, they should bring on new concept designers to work with Alan Lee and John Howe so they can all collaborate with each other and go, okay, well,
So Alan Lee and John Howe, I think John was responsible for the look and feel of Hobbiton.
Yes, right.
He's the one you can see in all the behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. John Howe sitting on the hill like, I am in heaven. Alan Lee is responsible for the Gondor, and a lot of that, and anything underground. Alan Lee was kind of like focused on things built out of rock.
Right, and also John Howe, from what I understand, what it seems like, is responsible for the many looks of Rohan as well.
Yeah, so they kind of you can see them visually. So should a new artist be responsible for the lands we haven't seen in Arnor?
Yes.
Cool. Cool. That's great.
Should the new artist, Jerry Vanderstel, should
yes.
The Hildebrandt?
Yes. We can have lots of new artists come in, but I'm not just saying that has to be a mutually exclusive state to not have John Howe or Alan Lee ever back. But yes, I would like to see something. We are definitely going to see these kingdoms and other places that we've never been before. That's part of the draw of us to come back and do this show. Wow.
Let's correct Nolan right there.
What does it say?
We haven't determined that it's set in the Jackson verse yet. We kind of have.
Yes, we
in a
kind of have.
way.
Yeah, we kind of have determined, because that's the reason why Amazon paid so much money to license all of the existing footage, and even that means photography that was taken at the time when Hobbit and Lord of the Rings was shot, and that footage was never used. And they've licensed all of the existing designs and all elements from New Line Cinema. So that does seem to point very specifically to the fact that they want this 5-season TV series to be cohesive with the 6 films.
And this mandate we hear came from the Tolkien family.
The mandate for this came from the Tolkien family.
Yeah.
To make the new series look like the previous 6 films.
Consistent with popular
culture. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure if I heard that in the background.
It was in the original announcements that the Tolkien estate led this new effort. And
yes.
So it's the Tolkien estate were the ones, as far as we know, as far as we've heard, the Tolkien estate were the ones that asked to make sure that the New Line license was included in any deal with Amazon. So it is the intent of the family to maintain that.
You want to file that under rumor?
It was in the press releases.
Yeah, so I guess it's not, whatever's in the press release, like legitimately, we're taking that and we're...
No modern art, though. Now, Rack on Duel in chat room says, no hashtag modern art, though, please. I kind of like the idea of the thing you can do with television that you can't do with movies is you can create one-off episodes that look and feel completely different than the whole thing, but like a very special. And I wouldn't mind an episode directed or animated by Ralph Bakshi.
Gosh, yes, that would be so cool.
I wouldn't mind an episode maybe directed by Wes Anderson.
Yes.
Wow.
That'd be great.
Why would it be great?
So I'm a little biased here because I really, really, really like Wes Anderson. Like, that's kind of where I get some of my techniques as a director. But I mean, it's just so foreign to to Tolkien. Having a 5-color palette, normally pastel, to dark, gritty, dark, quirky. It would just be really interesting. And I'm not saying like, oh, the whole show has to be like that. Like what you were saying, like just one episode.
Are you saying
a spin-off episode?
Do you think they should do like weird, sudden, off the beaten path type of things,
or maybe like
exclusives,
a musical episode,
an exclusively
like
musical
exclusives.
Episode.
That would be cool.
That would be interesting.
Like,
interesting.
here's the exclusive episode. It doesn't really have to do anything with the plot.
But it's a side story.
It's a side story. You're right.
Anthology.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, imagine if Wes Anderson did like his own version of Hunt for Gollum. That would be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Steve Buscemi as Gollum.
Oh God.
Bill Murray as Gandalf.
Oh gosh. Bill Murray as Gandalf.
Maybe Owen Wilson as Aragorn. Wow.
Oh,
that would be funny. That would be hilarious.
You are officially
Imagine
out of
the
control.
music. Like a little bit of Beach Boys here, a little bit of
What about the Shannara Chronicles? They used a modern palette and modern music.
It doesn't go, in my opinion.
That doesn't go with Lord of the Rings.
No.
No.
I don't think it does.
That was made for MTV Networks for a different audience. That's a different thing. Not for Middle Earth, but
Shannara is no-go?
Not like that.
Okay, so Pete says, what about a episode directed by Hannah Greenwood?
Who's that?
Oh, I don't know. She sounds lame, though.
How about we unbox this wonderful gift that Drew sent us?
Yes, let's get with the unboxing.
Thank you, Drew.
What about Tom Bombadil beautifully animated? Tom Bombadil animated by whom?
You know what?
Miyazaki?
Maybe.
The what? The new Thundercats?
Oh,
I'm on board for that. The new Thundercats animated style as the Tom Bombadil episode.
I hate that.
I still have to go.
Sorry, I hate that. And everything about the new style of the Thundercats, I hate. I hate it.
I love it. I love the new Thundercats. I love the new She-Ra. Ginger Hazing. Noelle should definitely do an episode
that would be cool. She's already done the art style
Nah.
for her other illustrations.
Lumberjanes and Nimona. Like, imagine her. She did the Broship of the Ring. What if they did a whole episode of Broship of the Ring?
Let's take a look at the way the animation style was done in Deathly Hallows. I think that there could be some very, very interesting silhouette. Like that was silhouette puppetry.
So if Miyazaki, if they brought in
Yeah.
the Miyazaki studio to take on one portion of the Tolkien legendarium, what story would Miyazaki style best support?
The story of Queen Beruthiel and all of her many cats. It would probably be something to do with all the cats.
You already have an answer.
Yes,
Like-
absolutely. And she sends her cats all around Minas Tirith to spy on people. Queen Beruthiel and her cats.
I can already see it right now.
Not a bad idea.
No, it's not. They better give you a voice acting role in it.
Stu-
You're one of the cats.
Studio Ghibli, you want to come back to business and get into bed with Amazon Studios, Studio Ghibli, or maybe Studio Panak, which is where most of the legendary animators who used to work with Miyazaki, they all migrated over to this other studio. They're the guys who created the really beautiful Mary and the Witch's Flower, with, award-winning, beautiful movie. But that's because Studio Ghibli shuttered production for quite a while, and now they're coming back to do the I'm Not Really Retired movie by Miyazaki. He said he was retired
So let me ask you this:
for the 5th time, but he's not retired. He's coming back.
I am very, very
movie.
serious about this this topic. That the things you can do with a TV series
Are beyond expectations of what you think you're stuck with.
Yeah,
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
and we've gone perfection with Lord of the Rings, the movies.
Yep.
Perfection, the biggest winning Oscar movie of all time, set all the records for winning the most trophies in one night. Lightning in a bottle, as you say.
That's what it was.
So rather than trying to recreate it or license it or recapture that magic in a television format, take advantage of the television format that you have and do these special episodes, maybe 2 or 3 a season. Give Miyazaki an episode all about the cats of Minas Tirith. That's perfect.
Yeah, it is. I
think
it's a great idea.
Give Wes Anderson the flashback of Arathorn II, and make Aragorn's father, who doesn't live very long, a guy like Alec Baldwin or a guy like Bill Murray. Bill Murray as Aragorn's father or The Hunt for Gollum was even better. Like, imagine Wes Anderson doing
would be hilarious.
the Hunt for Gollum.
I mean, imagine all the awkward dialogue. I mean, as if that trip was awkward enough. Like the framing of it, the character in the middle, the monotone voice. So would
Look, you could
You know?
you could do a whole episode with no dialogue, just using Howard Shore's score, and we would not bat an eye. And in fact, it might be many fans' favorite. If you told the story, maybe the history of Baron or something like that, and no dialogue, it's only told through music. These are the types of things that television allows us to do, and that's what makes me really, really, really excited about this TV show and these TV series, is that not only are they committing 5 seasons and $1 billion, but the opportunity to hire some of the best in the business to take little pieces from all over the Middle-earth legendarium. I think this is actually what we want.
How about the idea that we get like a martial arts standalone episode where we bring in like a famous Korean action director or someone who's really experienced with martial arts, and we get a standalone crazy just fight episode where certain characters are into oh my gosh, imagine the fight choreography. We could have something quite cool.
Imagine reaching out to the Russian studio that did that epic Lord of the Rings movie. Not the animation studio, the epic Russian version of Lord of the Rings.
The Russian TV version?
The Russian TV version.
You mean the Russian Hobbit?
Of the Hobbit.
That terrible, cheesy Hobbit thing that they did back in the 70s?
But it references...
It's so bad.
That's bad.
It's very bad.
But you would do a Ralph Bakshi. I would love to see Ralph Bakshi team up with the best motion capture that Weta has to offer and let Ralph Bakshi direct a motion capture, all CG animated version episode.
I'm digging that. I dig that. He's very, very talented. You want to see his most mature work? Get your hands on a copy of American Pop, and you'll see, wow, this man knows how to handle a story across generations, and he can do it. Mr. Bakshi is quite talented still.
And he's still here, and he's still relevant. I was just looking up Ralph Bakshi's age, and turns out when he did Lord of the Rings, the animated movie, the very first film production of Lord of the Rings, of anything Tolkien, he was the same age Peter Jackson was when Peter started making Lord of the Rings. And both of them are now the same age as the writers of the new Lord of the Rings series.
Right.
Coincidence?
So what is it about the human experience that says a 36-year-old is the best person to tell this story?
Okay, can I say my piece real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no answer to that, is there?
Yeah. I feel like I'm trying to think how to formulate my answer. I think it's because the person in that stage of life has had enough experience, and is wise in some regards, but also has that youthfulness to them to where they're open to new ideas and still have creativity. Yeah.
Do you feel you're qualified to do Lord of the Rings right now, today?
I mean, if the chance arose, I would do it, yes, but I certainly wouldn't be able to do it alone because I'm just one person, and I regard myself very knowledgeable in Tolkien's work, but I mean, like, nowhere near Cliff here. He's like, Tolkien's human walking Bible. I mean that with love, don't worry.
There's a lot of people in the chat room saying that they don't want anything less than live action.
That's okay. That's because we already have a taste for our Tolkien to be delivered as live action in the last 6 films. As consumers of high fantasy, even with Game of Thrones, we are accustomed to live action fantasy being at that scale. So that's what we're accustomed to. So introducing new concepts and new ideas, like let's go way off the rails in television to do something very, very, very fundamentally different, that's going to make a lot of people just go, what are you doing? It's Tolkien. You cannot play fast and loose with adapting Tolkien. So I understand. Yeah, Rakwan Duel, I understand, dude. Everybody who's in the chat room, I totally get it. And I appreciate all you folks coming in live to talk with us on Facebook and on YouTube and all the text messages.
Yes.
Really, really nice, active audience tonight. And this guy, Drew is a really wonderful audience member. He's a great friend of the OneRing.net for many, many years. He has sent me a gift in the past, that beautiful book of combat and weapons, the Lord of the Rings weapons book. Yeah. It's such a really cool thing. It's a battle and warfare book. And now he has sent a gift. Justin is about to do the pleasure of
Here we go.
Unboxing our surprise gift.
Camera.
I don't know what to expect. I wasn't even expecting this.
It could be anthrax. No, I'm just kidding. Our viewers are much too lovely to do that to us.
Oh, jeez. Oh, who's that?
It says.
Oh,
read it?
What does that say?
Wait, no.
You read it.
Yes. Just a small thank you for you for this wonderful community. Warmest regards, Drew C.
Nice, Drew. That is so thoughtful. That is actually very nice of you, sir.
Oh my gosh, Sauron.
Ooh, beautiful Sauron.
Sauron. We've got to unbox this completely.
Oh yes, Sauron. Well, this box got a little bent and bumped in the mail, but hey, he's in good shape. Oh, dude, check this guy out.
He seems so little.
We need to get if Sala were here, we could get him to.
Yeah, there we go.
We need to get Sala back and have
Yes,
him,
of course.
Have him autograph my little Sauron. Thank you, Drew. Thank
Yes.
you, Drew. This is amazing. You guys are amazing. You get like.
That is really cool, Drew. Thank you for it kindly.
We don't do this expecting gifts or anything like that. Like
No, we don't.
We just enjoy talking with each other and having you guys along. So this is thank you, Drew.
And hope you guys, Drew, you're having a great time in the Shenandoah Mountains. I know you're having a vacation there, and enjoy the experience. It's so beautiful there.
Hey, did we get a decision from the chat room whether to open the records?
No, a lot of people actually said both.
Okay.
Open it, and some people said don't
So
open
what do you
it.
think? Should we
This
open
is so
the record?
cool.
You know what, Cliff?
Are we going to open it? Are we going to open it?
I think we
Look at that.
You know what? I totally forgot, Cliff. We have another thing to open, and
a
we need
surprise.
we need your help.
Another thing to open.
We
What's
need your
that?
help opening this.
What's that?
If we bring it out and if we open it, you have to participate in it. You need to.
Okay. All right. What have you got?
Okay.
What is the surprise you've got? What are you talking about?
All right. Let's do it.
Bam.
Oh no! It's the Gollum breakfast cereal. Are you kidding me? Oh no!
Justin, get the milk in the bowl.
It's.
We're eating this.
We are not eating.
Yes, we are.
Are we eating?
We're eating it.
No.
You're eating it with me.
You got
You're
the green
eating
Gollum
it with
cereal?
me. Yes. You're eating it with me.
Oh my gosh! It includes a box lunch Funko Pocket Pop. There's a little Gollum inside.
I'm here for the cereal.
Multi-grain cereal. This is hilarious.
All right, let's open it up.
Funko Gollum.
No,
wait, no,
okay,
wait,
no,
wait,
you
wait,
open
wait,
it.
wait,
Okay,
wait,
yeah,
wait.
You open up.
Organic milling cereal manufactured by Organic Milling in San Dimas. Whoa. Sugar, enriched cornmeal, bleached enriched wheat flour. Oh my.
It's fish flavored.
It's fish flavored cereal. Are we really going to eat this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa. Open it up. Open it up.
Open it.
Okay. Here we go. Hold this. All right.
Camera's right there.
Oh my gosh.
I'm dueling.
Really? Check this out, y'all. We are really opening up.
We're doing this.
This is really happening. And if you want to look, here's the side of the box.
So we got milk. And
Yeah.
But what I realized is we have no spoons.
That's all right.
That's fine.
We'll eat like Gollum.
Oh gosh. This is so funny. Here we go, guys. Let's open it up and let us see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tasty
You got
treat.
bar spoons.
No. This is. Oh, wow.
Look how long that spoon is.
Oh, there's the toy. The toy is way in the bottom, in the very, very bottom.
Pour it in the bowl.
You take the cereal out.
Whoa.
There's your Gollum.
There's your Gollum.
There's your
Thanks.
And there's how it compares to the Dark Lord Sauron. That's about screen accurate.
Yeah.
Gollum. I love it.
Look how big they are.
This is Gollum. And this is Sauron.
So cool. Okay, here we go.
Cliff really doesn't want to eat this.
Smells like.
Really doesn't.
Yeah, I do. This is actually.
You guys getting in on this?
Look
You guys gonna
how.
have some Gollum cereal? Oh, don't even. The cereal is fish flavored.
Oh, it's gross.
Cereal is fish flavored.
I'm
No, it's not. I'm joking.
It tastes like Fruit Loops.
They do not taste like
Yes.
Fruit Loops.
Yeah, they do. They taste like Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops don't
Hold
taste
on.
like this.
Fruit Loops don't taste like this?
Fruit Loops do not taste like this.
Fruit Loops taste like this.
No.
They don't taste like Fruit
Fruit Loops do not taste like this.
They taste like Fruit Loops.
This is. What, that milk expired 2 days ago. I'm not-
Green cereal alarm bells in the chat room. Thank you for the alarm bells in the chat room. Well, I have a feeling this is not
Please,
good.
please,
This is
guys.
not good for you on a daily basis. This you shouldn't eat Funko's multigrain cereal on.
It's multi-grain.
It. It tastes like green lime lollipop, like the lollipop you get from the dentist's office.
Yeah, a little bit. There's like a little Fruit Loops on the back of it.
They can't hear you.
There's a little Fruit Loops right on the back of it. But
On the back of it, yeah.
On the very back end of the flavor, but I can't quite play. It's that lime lollipop in the beginning.
It's got, a little bit of a lime. Yeah.
It does taste like a lollipop, like lime green lollipop.
Now, let me ask you this, Cliff. If you close your eyes and pretend that this tastes like fish, does it taste like fish?
Guys, if I close my eyes and I really pretend, all I have to do is just lie back and think of England. That's all. It's a joke. It's a joke. Anyways.
Eat your cereal.
You didn't hear that.
You haven't even poured your milk.
Because the milk expired 2 days ago.
Cliff, be a man and eat your cereal.
I am eating my cereal. I am. I tell you what, guys. I tell you what.
This is a little long.
So tasty. So tasty.
Now, Cliff, do you pour your milk before the cereal?
No.
Does anyone do that at home? Because
No,
that's the wrong way of doing things. We did it the right way. You pour the cereal, then you pour the milk.
The cereal tastes like Halloween candy. It tastes like Halloween candy, seriously.
Halloween candy? No. This does not taste like Halloween.
Like a lollipop, like a lime lollipop.
Didn't Cliff once say that Gollum cereal is made from Soylent Green? And here it is. It's green.
Soylent Green. That movie is, wow. Charlton Heston.
Is it raw and wriggling?
It doesn't taste like taters, precious.
No, it's definitely not taters.
But now I'm actually eating it because it tastes like candy. I'm eating it. It's less like cereal and more like candy, to be honest.
Does it turn the milk green? So far,
No.
No, it does not turn the milk green at all.
let's cut to the camera. You can see my Funko's Gollum cereal is not green milk. The milk is not green.
We're going to show you the Gollum toy.
Yeah.
Let's take him out of the pack.
Okay. Add milk into tea. That's what you're supposed to do with milk. Tea.
Yeah,
You add milk to the tea.
You that is the proper British ways to add milk to your tea. That's true.
It will give you Gollum teeth. Do your teeth look like Gollum?
I only have 6. I only have 6 teeth left. Oh, look at this cute little mini Gollum. All right, guys, do you see him?
He's tiny, like me.
Compare him to Sauron.
Oh, yeah, I like. Hold on.
You could actually put him in Sauron's arms.
Yeah.
I think.
In the arms of an angel.
In the arms of an angel.
There you go, guys. Everybody can see. Here's our Sauron. Thank you very much, Drew, for the gift. And look at Gollum. He just came out of the cereal box.
To clarify Cliff's issue from a few minutes ago, Pete accurately points out that the expiration date on your milk carton is for the last day of sale.
Yep.
Not the last day of consumption. So
That's right.
Man up.
I know.
And drink your milk.
Do you got milk?
Not today.
Oh.
You guys.
What does it taste like? Scuffed World Order wants to know. Cliff, can you describe this taste?
This cereal tastes like a lime Jolly Rancher or a lollipop that is, bright green and lime flavored.
Would you, JC, you agree that's a little bit of a lime? Little limey.
A little limey. Dude, it's a little.
The lime of the ring.
A little Terrence Stamp for you.
Oh my god.
Ah, the limey. That's one of the best movies. I love that movie. But you know what? This is crazy. This is crazy that you got this and you surprised me.
They are made of people. That's why you can't.
So many surprises.
That's why you can't pronounce any of the ingredients on the side, Cliff. They're made of people. This is literally green. Oh, my milk is starting to turn green now. Now that I'm playing with my cereal, the milk is starting to turn green. So if you poured yourself a full bowl and had with nice cold milk, you would have green milk. So Not like Star Wars.
Do you want to know
where
what's really
there's blue
funny?
milk.
On the bottom of the cereal box, let's get a real tight close-up. There's the New Line Cinema logo and the MGM logo right there on the bottom of the cereal box.
So
take a close look.
So do you feel Tolkien is rolling over in his grave right now, or is he appreciating that we are enjoying his creation in a new way?
I think he's ecstatic. He's probably ecstatic.
Cliff?
I don't think so. I am like
Cliff, get
I'm
with the
so
program.
I'm so Debbie Downer today.
We are consumers in a consumer culture. We're most excited about Amazon spending $1 billion on all the rights and all the marketing and merchandise opportunities of Lord of the Rings. This is just a taste of things to come.
That
Literally.
doesn't mean that all that might be true, son, but that doesn't mean that this cereal is in any way right.
This is not right. You don't appreciate this?
Right.
I spent $10 on cereal. Leave me.
I love it though; it's delicious.
What would a good cereal be, Lord of the Rings? Like, what would a good one be? Like Riders of Rohan?
What would be another good cereal, like a real good cereal for Lord of the Rings?
Lembas cereal.
Lembas cereal?
Instead of cinnamon toast crunch, it would be like Lembas toast crunch. And you have little mini Lembas, and they'll be all yummy. And you could also have little green marshmallows, little green marshmallows of leaves in the Lembas cereal. It would be great.
Could keep a grown man full for an entire
Yes.
One little piece of yeah. Well, I like your idea of Rohan bran. You know, with little bits of raisins,
like marshmallow horseshoes.
marshmallow horseshoes, with Rohan bran cereal.
Hobbit charms.
I'm
Hobbit charms.
Hobbit charms. There
You get
go.
like all the marshmallows, you know, slight ale flavor, just a little bit, but
Now-
safe enough for the kids. Safe enough
I'm
for
not
the
joking
kids.
though. I really want some of this. Now, Cliff, do you feel like this is the start of something great, or do you feel like stop here while it's getting good?
No, we're gonna get some novelty items like this. I don't think this is like a bastion of a great, wonderful wave of things to come. This is just a cereal. It's an odd thing. I like the odd, weird things every now and then. It's just what you'd call what's the word? An oddment, as Professor Dumbledore would say.
You know
An
what's-
oddment.
You know what's funny? A few months ago, when we were talking about the possibilities of new merchandise coming out. We were talking about, oh, what's next? Lord of the Rings cereal, and yet here we are. We're like, today on the show with Cliff, Justin, and Hannah, we are eating Gollum cereal.
It's so good. Look, you can see the milk turning green. I don't know if you can see.
We
it
don't
with
want
the
to
thing.
see your green milk.
Green milk.
Green
Look,
milk.
Star Wars fans love colored milk.
So, P.S.
Yes, they
Oh,
do.
did I spend $10 of my own money on this? Yes, I.
This is so funny.
This is the best.
This is so funny that you guys did this to me by surprise. I love it.
If you were here in Hollywood, you would be joining us in
Yeah.
enjoying this cereal.
You would be.
You know, one thing I'm a little disappointed about is
The ease of doing this maze on the back of the box?
no. The one thing that I'm kind of disappointed about is the effect. You don't get the effects of like this kind of cereal with Rice Krispies, because I would have expected this to be kind of like Rice Krispies. You know, like those old commercials. Listen to what they say. It's like they're talking. They're
Yeah.
popping.
I can hear it pop.
There was no popping on the milk on this cereal. It did not pop.
No.
No snap, crackle, or
s-
pop.
Yeah, but instead of snap, crackle, and pop, it's precious, juicy, and sweet.
Juicy, sweet.
Yeah, it would have been that.
Is the professor really shaking in his grave right now?
I
I don't want to.
I don't want to speculate on what Professor Tolkien's bones are doing right now. I hesitate to speculate.
You're not happy with this. You're not happy.
No. The existence of this is very fun. Like I said, I love the novelty. I love the novelty of this. To get a Gollum toy in the bottom of a Lord of the Rings box of cereal, I get it, but that doesn't make the cereal any more edible.
I'm done. Look, my bowl is empty. It's completely clean. I finished my cereal, Dad.
I did too. I finished my cereal too. All good, all yummy.
You just gave it to the dog.
I saw you feed it under the table to the dog.
Feeding scraps to Farmer Maggot's dogs.
Oh my goodness, dog food branded for Farmer Maggot?
Yeah, Farmer Maggot's dogs. Yeah,
I would buy that.
I get
Only
it.
for little dogs. 'Cause
Only for little
for
dogs.
big dogs, you gotta brand it warg food.
You got a what?
Warg food.
Purina
Warg
Warg food
Yeah.
for the biggest dog in your life?
Feed the warg, your cute little warg that's in your house, and feed him.
I am so happy
Made
that
of real
this
dwarf
exists.
meat.
I'm so happy that we got Sauron pops. I'm so happy that you guys sent me something amazing. This is wonderful. I'm so pleased that this cereal is not puke. I'm so glad that it tastes good. It looks good. It's Gollum. Our favorite Gollum. Oh man.
And it might actually be to scale. Gollum actually.
Yeah, it is. It is to scale.
Would you buy Big League Chew, but old Toby flavored?
No, old Toby flavored.
Big League Chew.
That's just chewing tobacco.
Chew.
That's just chewing tobacco, but just called
What do
a
you think
different
old
thing.
Toby is?
That's funny. I like that idea. So, you know what?
Joe Richardson says, I read somewhere in an interview that Christopher Tolkien said he never wanted to see Frodo on a pop can.
Mm-hmm.
So, has there ever been a Lord of the Rings tie-in with a drink or a soda pop?
I want to say no, but I have seen Arwen and other characters appear on other things, other products. Like it has appeared. I just don't remember. But no, nobody wants to see your favorite literary character just, on the side of
Gollum granola? Susie Davis, I love you. Gollum granola?
Gollum granola, but
I would buy that.
Who wants to see Frodo and all the litter and trash on the side of the road? No one wants to see Frodo's face on, a can of soda. In that regard, it'd be more interesting to have Frodo's face on some other item that has some other consumer value than just a disposable can. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Pampers. She wants Frodo Pampers.
No, I'm just joking.
Diaper?
But
Diapers? No.
Everything is on the table with the Lord of the Rings because Amazon owns Whole Foods, so we'll be able to get Shire potatoes, some yummy stews, branded stews that you cook at home in your crock pot.
I don't know about that.
What?
I don't know
you don't
about
want
that.
This?
Hey, they did it with Denny's. Why can't they do it with Whole Foods?
I loved the Denny's menu. Did you not love the Denny's
Yes,
menu?
I loved the Denny's menu, and I ate
why
there.
do you have an issue with this cereal, but you do not have an issue with Denny's menu?
I don't have an issue with the cereal. I'm going to say this for the third time. The novelty of this cereal is really delightful. The flavor is not. Okay?
What do you mean
Okay.
the flavor's not?
The flavor is not delightful, but the novelty of this is delightful. And the other thing that I want to say is that we have our characters on beautiful statues, on items that collectors have of value. We've opened up our gemmer community for all the Tolkien people
right.
around the world to have a way to show off their most valued items. It's one thing to have Aragorn or Gandalf on an object that you value, like a beautiful polystone sculpture from Weta. But just to have it on a burger wrapper that you just toss in the trash on the side of the road, this is different. You're talking about commoditization being great all across the board.
Yes.
I'm talking about commoditization of the characters being more thoughtful and being used in a specific way.
So it's appropriate that Gollum is the only one with a cereal.
Why?
Because Gollum wants the ring, and these are little green rings.
Oh, God.
My milk is green now.
The
Okay.
milk turned green. The
It kinda
milk
did.
turns green.
It actually did. It actually did. So now I think I've settled that. Maybe.
Pete says, does the box say Gollum cereal? Looks fair, tastes foul. No, Pete, this tasted good. I finished my bowl.
I finished
It did. Hey, Pete says Christopher Tolkien,
Yes.
J.R.R.'s son,
Yes.
protected his father's creation voraciously.
Yes, he
But
did.
Tolkien, the next generation, are selling out left and right, it seems.
Is that
I
from
don't-
Northrunner? Is that from
That's from Northrunner.
Pete? I understand exactly where you're at with that. They are at a point where they either do nothing with the
And
legacy
let
of Tolkien's works,
and
they
let it die.
and they let it die, and it doesn't ever make an imprint on culture again in a different way. And I'm talking about popular arts,
Right.
popular entertainment. I'm not talking about literary legacy. The legacy is always there, but they're interested in furthering the audience and the reach of Tolkien, and that means they'd rather be in bed and have some kind of creative control over this Amazon Studios thing.
They're
But
in control. They're not selling out by
But
staying in control.
what they want, and I want to address this to Pete because he's a very close friend of ours, and he's been one of our most faithful audience
Look
members.
closely.
Pete, here's the thing. When New Line Cinema was running around with their license, they were doing horrible things like making gambling video games and poker machines.
Oh, yeah, my mom played one of those for me.
And Professor Tolkien would definitely be rolling in his grave with something like that happening. So that is what you'd call abuse of the license. Now that Christopher Tolkien has stepped aside, really, and he's letting the other grandchildren run the ship, I think they're going to rather be like first person engaged in licensing a lot of interesting things, and I think they'd rather commoditize Tolkien's characters for toys and collectibles and other things, but not gambling machines. We're never ever going to see them
Never.
abuse the license like that again.
I don't think so.
So I would rather take some small comfort in knowing that the Tolkien estate, yes, they are selling the rights to a lot of people for a lot of things, but I'd rather them do that cautiously than not do it at all. Or the worst aspect is when they ignore what one of their other license holders is doing and they abuse the license with Tolkien characters, which is what the lawsuits were all about. So many lawsuits against New Line Cinema for that. So at least we can see that the Tolkien family is going to be much more involved, and there won't be some crazy shenanigans and doing things behind their back anymore. So we'll see.
Well,
We'll see.
hey, Funko, official review from this one reviewer. A+, keep making more. I want to see Aragorn Applejacks. I want to see some Shire Shreddies. I want to see I want to see more of these, and I want to see them at Kroger, and I want to see them at Ralph's. What's your
Lembus
review
cereal.
of the Gollum O's cereal?
Okay, so this is my official review from Hannah at the onering.net. You can quote me on this. I didn't really taste any lime until I taste it dry. This is
okay.
I was eating it
dry. Okay.
yeah, I was eating it with milk, but I will say this. This will become my snack, and I will wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to crouch over a box of this instead of Cheerios. So well done.
Okay.
Cliff, your official review?
My official review: packaging and the toy gets a 9. It's wonderful. The cereal itself, I'll just hard pass on the cereal. Thanks, though.
But I'm proud of you for finishing your breakfast.
But you know what? I
Your
absent-mindedly
mama taught you right.
I ate it all. I ate everything that was put in front of me. I'm not rude, unless I have to be. Wow, what an interesting show.
What a great show. Again, let's show our empty bowls here.
There you go.
Cheers.
I had seconds because I'm a hobbit. I had second breakfast.
Second breakfast.
I had second breakfast.
You guys,
Quite
were you guys
literally.
paying attention on the stream? Did you notice that she poured herself some second breakfast?
I'm surprised nobody pointed that out because I thought everybody in the chat room was going to go, second breakfast.
Here's
Our wonderful gift. If you guys want to send us anything, you can send it care of Scum and Villainy Cantina, Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood, California. We are literally on Hollywood Boulevard, and you can join us every single week here. And if you were here this week, you would have partaken in our little Gollum cereal experiment. Who
Our
knows
feast.
what other goodies we will find in the
Crazy
cupboards.
business. You never
Yes.
know what's going to happen with
Now,
these crazy
Hannah,
people.
where did you find the cereal? Because it's exclusive to one store.
Okay, so Hot Topic has a branch store called Box Lunch.
It's owned by Hot Topic.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not going to say specifically the location as to where the specific Box
It's a
Lunch
chain.
was.
It's a
yeah,
chain.
It's a chain. It's just, you
can
know.
see- yeah, it's literally called Box Lunch. It's a store
Yeah.
called Box Lunch.
Yeah.
And it's in most malls. It's in many malls across the country.
Yes, and they had Funko cereal, and I was with my friend the other day at the mall, and we were in there, and I was like, I'm going to get this. It's $10, but I'm going to get this. This is funny. This makes me laugh.
Susie Davis says it's 3 a.m. where she's at, and now she wants Gollum O's to snack on. Well,
Remember-
Funko's got you covered with Gollum O cereal. Let's show it on the close-up one more time.
Yeah.
Gollum O cereal. Look how happy Gollum is holding his little Gollum O ring of cereal. He is so pleased as punch.
Please just punch.
Pleased as punch. Compared to that nasty, mean Gollum.
Do you know what? Yeah, that's definitely not Smeagol. You get the toy out of the box. It's not Smeagol. You get the nasty Gollum. You get in his worst mood. That's what you get.
Well, Cliff,
Just to warn you ahead of time. There's no Smeagol inside the box.
this has been a wonderful conversation.
It has
Hannah,
been.
thank you for co-hosting with us today and
Always.
bringing the best gifts ever.
you.
Thank you to all of our people for watching. Thank you for this wonderful gift. Where's the rest
Thank
of
you,
it?
Drew, for that
Drew,
beautiful gift. And thank
I've
you.
got Sauron right here. And thank you. Big thank you.
Big thanks to the hardworking staff of Scum and Villainy Cantina.
This bowl's to you. From you.
Yes.
Thanks to you.
Thank you, guys.
And the wonderful spoons. In fact, I will only eat Gollum cereal with
a bar
long
spoon.
Bar spoon.
That's a
from
bar.
now
That's a
on
mixing
out.
spoon.
Yeah.
I love this. This has been a really fun show. You guys are always wonderful. Thanks for joining us live.
I feel like Smeagol now. I'm happy. I'm go lucky. I
Good.
want to go swim in a stream.
Yeah.
To me, please. You're going to, like, strangle me to death.
Don't hold the ring.
Just don't hold the ring in front of him.
Yeah. Don't.
You can follow us.
This has changed my mood.
I'm glad that the sugar rush is apparent.
No, it's Gollum.
It's the sugar rush.
Where can people follow us?
I love it.
Smeagol rush.
Well, you guys follow us on the One Ring Net at Instagram and on Twitch and on Ustream and on Periscope and on Facebook and on the Twitterverse and the Twitter zone of tweets and Twitters. The One Ring Net, that's where you'll find us. Me, personally, you can find Clifford at QuickBeam2000 on Instagram and Twitter as well.
For my personal Instagram and Twitter, I forgot what it was called for a second. On Twitter, you can find me as Cimmerillion28. And on
28.
28.
Silmarillion 28.
Yes, Cimmerillion28.
And you've got pictures of your trip to New Zealand.
Yeah, if you want to check out my adventure to New Zealand, you can view it on my Twitter. Again, Cimmerillion28. Or you can request to follow me, because I'm picky about who follows me. Just kidding. I prefer to keep it on private. But you, you can request to follow me on Instagram, as Baggins is here, is where I have a highlight of the stories that I did during my time in New Zealand.
You went everywhere. You went to Hobbiton.
Yeah, I
you
went
to
literally almost everywhere.
Mata Mata.
Mata Mata.
Mata Mata.
Yes.
Hey, one last great idea from the chat room. Scuffed World Order says a Gollum goldfish. Pepperidge Farm, get on that. I would eat Gollum goldfish. Would you? Or would you be satisfied with that?
Eating, like, no.
Pepperidge Farm goldfish, but Gollum.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, little cute goldfish crackers. Yeah,
Is that okay?
is cute.
Would you be happy with
Actually,
that?
I'm a fan of sushi and sashimi. So if there was actually like a real like sushi restaurant that served a special Gollum dish,
Susie followed
I'd be
you
down for that.
last week.
I'd be down.
Thank
You
you
guys-
guys for following us. And
Thank
we
you, Nolan.
are so close to 100,000 followers on Twitter. And if you guys can spread the word on Twitter and tell all your friends to follow us, I will have an awesome giveaway when we hit 100,000 on Twitter.
Yes, and also remember, actually, never mind, because I forgot. I'm like Radagast like that.
Yeah, the cereal's so good.
The cereal's so good. It's going to my mind. All I'm thinking is, I just want some more cereal.
That's right. You're obsessed with the little ring cereal.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's doing its work. So, you guys, this has been awesome. Thank you to Scum and Villainy Cantina. It's open to the public. It's the best geek bar in all the land.
The best.
It's getting even better as we speak. And we'll be here next week. And little program note, Graham McTavish was supposed to be on the show, but he got busy filming in New Zealand today.
Yes.
So he has promised to come back to LA in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Join us here at Scum and Villainy. So if you're watching all the way to the end of the show, make a plan to be here for the show in person and meet Graham McTavish.
Yes.
And who knows what hijinks. Maybe we'll have him eat some cereal.
Oh, no. Don't feed him this. Don't feed this to Graham McTavish.
I'm going to feed it to him.
I'm
going to do it.
The man deserves better.
Hey, man, he was in Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and he sang as a weasel. He's fine. He can stomach this.
Yes.
I love that song from
It's my
Mr.
favorite.
Toad's Wild Ride.
Anyway, Graham McTavish
Wind
in
in
a
the
couple
Willows.
weeks.
I love
We're
that.
working on some amazing stuff. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
Farewell.
Do you know what you do? You replace this with all green Fruit Loops because they taste much better. And then let him eat green Fruit Loops.
With this lime flavored.
Ugh, no. So funny.